Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we have the opportunity to go through a very beautiful shloka. It's Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 19, Text 16. So I will start right away with reciting the shloka. This shloka is spoken by Parikshit Maharaj to the sages. Punascha bhuyat bhagvatyanante rati prasangascha tadasraeshu mahatsu yamyam upyami shrishtim metriyastu sarvatra namo dvijebhya. One more time I'll chant. Punascha bhuyat bhagvatyanante rati prasangascha tadasraeshu mahatsu yamyam upayami shrishtim maitriyastu sarvatra namo dvijebhya. And the word-to-word meanings we can go through. So the word-to-word is punaha, again, cha, and bhuyat, let it be, bhagavati, unto Lord Shri Krishna, anante, who has unlimited potency, ratihi, attracting, prasanga, association, cha, also, tat, his, asriyeshu, with those who are his devotees, mahatsu, within the material creation, yam, wherever, upyami, I may take, shrishtim, my birth, maitri, friendly relation, astu, let it be, sarvatra, everywhere, namaha, my obeisances, dvijebhya, unto the Brahmins. And now we have translation by Sheila Prabhupada. Again, offering obeisances unto all you Brahmanas, I pray that if I should again take my birth in the material world, I will have complete attachment to the unlimited Lord Krishna, association with his devotees, and friendly relations with all living beings. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. That a devotee of the Lord is the only perfect living being is explained herein by Maharaj Parikshit. A devotee of the Lord is no one's enemy, although there may be many enemies of a devotee. A devotee of the Lord does not like to associate with non-devotees, although he has no enmity with them. He desires association with the devotees of the Lord. This is perfectly natural because birds of the same feather flock together. And the most important function of a devotee is to have complete attachment for Lord Shri Krishna, the Father of all living beings. As a good son of the Father behaves in a friendly way with all his other brothers, so also the devotee of the Lord, being a good son of the Supreme Father, Lord Krishna, sees all other living beings in relation with the Supreme Father. He tries to bring back the upstart sons of the Father to a saner stage and to get them to accept the supreme fatherhood of God. Maharaj Parikshit was certainly going back to Godhead, but even if he were not to go back, he prayed for a pattern of life, which is the most perfect way in the material world. A pure devotee does not desire the company of a personality as great as Brahma, but he prefers the association of a petty living being, provided he is a devotee of the Lord. So this is a very beautiful purport and very beautiful shloka. Sheila Prabhupada has translated it very well. So we can get started now with the prayers. Om Ajnanam Timarandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vanchakalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So good morning, devotees. Hare Krishna. This is my first class, so I seek the blessings of my Guru Maharaj and all the Vaishnavas. Please forgive me if I make any mistakes, because as I said, this is the first time I'm presenting. But we have got a very beautiful shloka actually, and this shloka is spoken by Parikshit Maharaj, and he's speaking to the sages at Naimisharanya. He has only 7 days to live. He has been cursed with the curse that a snake bird will bite him in 7 days. So what he's asking for from the sages is punascha bhuyat. Punascha bhuyat means if I were to take birth in this material world, then I don't mind, but I want three things for if I were going to have my rebirth. One is I want Bhagavati Yanante Ratihi. Ratihi means I want to be attracted to Lord. I want to have attraction to Lord Sri Krishna. Then the second point that he's making is that I want Rati Prasangas Chatadashreshu. Means what he wants the association of those devotees who have already taken shelter of Lord Krishna. And the third thing he wants is Maitri Astru Sarvatra Namo Dvijebhya, which is what he's wanting, is that he wants to be on friendly terms, and he wants to be compassionate towards all living beings. So these are the three things that Parikshit Maharaj is asking from the sages. So if you look at this verse, there are like 3 keywords here. One keyword is Ratihi. Ratihi is association. Association with whom? With Lord Krishna. The second important word is Prasangas, which means association. Association with whom? With the devotees. And the third important word is Maitri. Maitri is friendship. Friendship with whom? With all living beings. So I thought, as part of the presentation, that I will concentrate on these 3 words and see what some of our acharyas, and give some thoughts on these 3 words, and finally we'll come back to Lord Parikshit's prayer again, one more time. So when we are talking about Ratihi, that is attraction to Lord Krishna, we are very clear about who the Supreme Personality of Godhead is in ISKCON. So in our Bhakti Shastri class, we were, talking about this time about, ISKCON connection. And, there was a passage, 1972 Walks with Srila Prabhupada, where there's a discussion going on that in ISKCON, we're very clear. We don't have any doubt about who the Supreme Personality of Godhead is. We know what he looks like. We know, his leelas. So it's very easy for us to get attracted to Lord Krishna. And there are a lot of people who are not clear, who may be atheists, and they may be having a problem but for us to have attraction to Lord Krishna, Prabhupada has given us so much and so many details that, we can easily visualize Lord Krishna as a person and feel naturally very attracted to him. And one of my favorite verses in Bhagavad Gita is 18.66, which is Sarva Dharman Parityagya Mam Ekam Sharanam Vrajaham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshisyami Mav Sucha. So the key thing that over in this verse is, that surrender to Lord Krishna, that is, abandon all varieties of religion, just surrender to me and I will deliver you from sinful reactions, do not fear. So surrendering to Lord, if we are attracted to Lord Krishna, then surrendering to Lord Krishna becomes very, very easy for us, actually. It's just because we have so much of details in ISKCON about who the personality of Godhead is that we can even begin to think that of surrendering. Another important thing is that, when we are surrendering to Lord Krishna, simultaneously, we should also concentrate on qualities, developing qualities. And Krishna Kaviraj in Chaitanya Charitamrita has listed 26 qualities of a devotee. And very quickly, I'll go through it. That is, he's kind to everyone, does not quarrel, fixed in absolute truth, equal, faultless, charitable, mild, clean, simple, benevolent, peaceful, completely attached to Krishna. This is what we are discussing. Has no material hankering, meek, steady, self-control, does not eat more than required, sane, respectful, humble, grave, compassionate, friendly, poetic, silent, and expert. So our acharyas tell us that the most important of these qualities is being completely attached to Krishna, because a pure devotee who is completely attached to Krishna will automatically develop all these qualities. Now, because we are just aspiring devotees and we are not really pure, so we have to still work on being completely attached to Krishna, and simultaneously we can reflect on these qualities, and from time to time we can work on that, because I know I do that. So from time to time, if I feel that I'm severely lacking in one quality, I start, actually even noting down for a few days that, how I'm working on that particular quality. And at the end of 6 days, I find, that because of my awareness that I have to correct myself, that, I actually improve, at least for some time. But if you keep doing it like continuously, you can really actually improve yourself a lot. But like as acharyas say, that first it all begins with being completely attached to Krishna. And then another thing I wanted to say before wanting to go to prasangas is that what really helps is also chanting and hearing, which helps us develop our attraction for Krishna. And these actually really help. And they help us connect with Krishna. Like today, for instance, at 6:06, one close relative just texted me. They were doing a night shift, and they were getting very nervous. They were like, it's so isolating. So I just texted them the Mahamantra. I said, you just chant the Mahamantra. And believe me, they were relieved. So that is how much potency the chanting has, and how much it helps us not only to be attracted to Krishna, but helps others also to be connected to Krishna. So now we can go to the second point, which is prasangas, which is the devotee association. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, actually we find everywhere, we find a lot like of devotee association is recommended. And Dhruva Maharaj, especially in Srimad Bhagavatam 4.9.11, chapter Canto 4, chapter 9:11, has recommended that. He asked the Lord to bless him so that he can continuously be engaged in association of devotees. I'm going to read a little bit of the purport of Sheila Prabhupada because, I think that this part of the purport is really, really very useful for us. So it is, the significant point in Dhruva Maharaj's statement is that he wanted the association of pure devotees. Transcendental devotional service cannot be complete and cannot be relishable without the association of devotees. We have therefore established the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Anyone who's trying to be aloof from this Krishna conscious society and yet engage in Krishna consciousness is living in a great hallucination, for this is not possible. So, Srila Prabhupada is very clear that, if you want to develop Krishna consciousness and you're not associating with the society, where there is association of devotees, then it's not going to be possible. If you just want to be an island and somehow develop, devotional service, it's very, very difficult then. And like when we associate with devotees, pure devotees, even like for a short period of time, it's very beneficial. And when we associate even without being aware of it, it's very beneficial. Like for instance, in Bhagavatam, we can find the example of Kardama Muni and Mother Devahuti. Mother Devahuti, she took shelter of Kardama Muni, and she wanted even material benefits, which she got. But once she took shelter of Kardama Muni, it became imperative that she would be delivered, just because she took the shelter. And finally, she was delivered by her son, Kapila Muni. So sometimes even we are not fully aware, of, devotee association or of the exalted nature of a devotee. But if we are in contact, we do benefit. Like even in our experience, we are here just because some devotee actually helped us. It's not that we here just because of our own thing. Some devotee helped us to get to this point. And so that's why association is very, very important. And I also read somewhere that our psychological processes have to be aligned before we do, like physically we go to devotional service. And it was very interesting because there they discussed that thinking, feeling, and willing, you have to be thinking, feeling, and willing. And the thinking really starts, when you're hearing from devotees or you're in devotee association, you think about your object of object of devotion, and then you develop some feelings, and then finally you're willing to go towards devotional service. So those all psychological process actually starts with sangha. And also Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he gave an excellent example to us, regarding devotee association. He was very, very fond of devotees. He used to cook for, he and his family used to cook for devotees. Sometimes he would wash clothes also of devotees. And it is said that sometimes when he would glorify the devotees, it would look like he had like several mouths, like 5 mouths. His biographers say that he had, like, while glorifying his devotees, he had so many mouths. And, example was given of one of the devotees, Vasudeva Datta, who used to, look after the distressed people very well. And they said Mahaprabhu had 1,000 mouths when he used to glorify Vasudeva Datta. And we also find that in Chaitanya the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he had several discussions with very elevated devotees, and where again this was emphasized. Like for instance, once he had this discussion with Ramanand Roy, who was a very exalted devotee, and he asked, Mahaprabhu asked Ramanand Roy, what is the most painful existence? And Ramanand Roy answered, separation from a pure devotee. And then Mahaprabhu asked, okay, what is the most profitable thing in the world? The essence of all auspicious events. And then Ramanand Roy answered, there's nothing so profitable as the association of pure devotees. So, so that is what our acharyas tell us, and that is what they tell us, that this is a very important point for us. And in fact, all of them emphasize on this. Even Bhakti Vinod Thakur, he had a prayer that, if I have to be born as even an insignificant insect, it has, I just pray that I'm born in the, house of a devotee, because the house of a devotee is like Vaikuntha. So, it's very, so we should always, not take it for granted. We are very lucky that we've got association of devotees, because Srila Prabhupada is, formed ISKCON. And so we should always appreciate that, we got this opportunity. And the third thing that we have in the verse is Maitri. Maitri means friendship, and friendship, is of various level. Maitri, when we talk about Maitri, talks about like loving exchanges, and loving exchanges with, friendship with all living beings. So devotee is like a suhrit, that is, your su is you're gaining auspiciousness in your heart, and you're like a well-wisher for all living beings. So it's not only like human beings, but also like trees, birds, animals, everything. And when Srila Prabhupada actually was a perfect example of a suhrit, because he was on the platform of Uttama Adhikari, devotee, which is the highest level. So he was seeing everybody as equal. And when he left he had to leave the holy land of holy village of Vrindavan and come to New York in a cargo ship. And he faced at an advanced stage, and he came to like such a cold climate, and then there were these drug addicts, and there were these criminals and whatnot, and he was put in a situation. He didn't even have much money at that, and but still he was so compassionate that he wanted to deliver. He didn't say that this is their karma, so let them do whatever. He wanted to deliver everybody. So he was very, very compassionate. And we are also lucky actually that because of his compassionateness, we got this opportunity. And in fact, Srila Prabhupada was so compassionate that I read somewhere that there was this devotee Janki, even the cat of she had a cat, and he was even compassionate towards the cat. He said the Maha Mantra to the cat, and was asking Janki, please give prasadam. Are you giving milk? So that is how compassionate he was. He wanted everybody to be delivered. So that is how Srila Prabhupada was so very merciful. And we should also be merciful towards everyone. We should not think that we are devotees and they are non-devotees, and so we are somehow superior, because who are we to judge? Who knows? Who are we to judge what the other person is? Let God do the judging, and let us just be compassionate to them and not make them feel like we are superior or anything, because we have to be very, very humble, because we are following Lord Chaitanya, and Lord Chaitanya is known for his humility. So when we are with anybody else who's a non-devotee, then we should always be very, very compassionate with all non-devotees. So and then finally I thought I'll end this presentation with two prayers actually, and they are very beautiful prayers, and they are, the reason I wanted to end with those prayers is because they're very much similar to the prayers of Parikshit Maharaj. And one of the prayers is in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 41 and text 51. And I'm just going to highlight actually this prayer is at the time when Krishna and Balram, they come to Mathura. And there they meet the garland maker, Sudama. And Sudama is a pure devotee of the Lord. And, Lord Krishna asks Sudama that he wants to give Sudama benediction. So he says, ask for whatever you want. And Sudama, who is a pure devotee, asks Lord Krishna for three things. So the first thing he asks is Achilam Bhaktim. Achilam Bhaktim is, I want unshakable devotion towards you. And the second thing that he asked, that Bhakteshu cha shohardam. Shohardam is friendship. I want friendship towards Bhakteshu, that is Bhakteshus towards devotees. And the third thing he wants is Bhuteshu cha dayam param. I want, Bhuteshu means towards all living beings, I want to have compassion. So if you see, this is the exact same prayer, that these are the exact same things that Parikshit Maharaj is asking. So it just goes to show that a pure devotee is how much they're concentrating on these three things. It's something for us to think about, aspiring devotees like for us to think about. And then I thought that, okay, is there any example in like more contemporary times which kind of emulates what Bhagavatam is trying to teach us? And I happened to read the biography of Yamuna Devi. Yamuna Devi is very famous devotee who, especially in the early days of Hare Krishna movement, she was very, very famous. She was very active. More than 35 years, she followed Krishna consciousness. And there's a biography of hers, Yamuna Devi. It's called Yamuna Devi, A Life of Unalloyed Devotion. It's written by her god sister, Dina Tarini Devi. The biography, it's very voluminous. It's more than like 1,000 pages, but it's an interesting read. And at the end of her life, a few days before she passed away, she put a letter under Dina Tarini's pillow, and just kind of expressed her feelings. And Dina Tarini found the letter after, Devi found the letter 2 days after Yamuna Devi's passing away. And this letter is very beautiful. And I'll just read the last paragraph because in the interest of time. So here's what she says. We've talked about the next phase, the next journey. How many times I've prayed before the deities this very one thing. I recognize my failings, my unlimited faults, but with my limited faculties and intelligence, I have tried my best to make progress in Krishna consciousness. Especially, I've tried to practice and represent what Srila Prabhupada gave to us, pure, unalloyed Krishna consciousness. So my prayers 1,000, 100,000 times have been that if I have done enough, let me go where Srila Prabhupada is. If he has returned to the spiritual world, then let me do whatever I can to follow. But if he has gone somewhere else for preaching and delivering more fortunate souls, then please let me also go there. This is my only wish. So if you see, in a way, she's asking for the same three things. She's asking for association with Srila Prabhupada, which is association with pure devotees. Then she's asking for Krishna consciousness, which comes with Srila Prabhupada. And then she's asking for delivering more fortunate souls if she comes to the material world. So, it looks like the devotees, they think along similar lines, and consider these three things as important. So coming back to our verse again and reiterating Parikshit Maharaj, devotees like us might ask, okay, we want to go to the spiritual world, but pure devotees, they leave it to Krishna, whatever's Krishna's wish. If he takes us to the spiritual world, it is good. If not, if it is his wish to come back, that we should come back here, then Parikshit Maharaj says that I have only three wishes: attraction towards Krishna, association with devotees, and compassion. I should have compassion with all living beings. So this is all that I had for today, and please forgive me because this is my first class if I misspoke anything. Thank you very much. That's all I have.
Hare Krishna, Saragrahi Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Guru Maharaj, Sheila Prabhupada. I thought it was the first class I am hearing, but it's also your first class here. Very excellent, Mataji. You have graduated. Great. Great.
Thank you, Mataji. You're encouraging me.
No, I mean, it's you have covered very much to the point of the verse, and that is the very excellent frame of mind in which a devotee who is preparing to face the next next stage of life, this is the most excellent prayers. Thank you very much. You have you have given the examples of Yamuna Devi Mataji, and the tailor, and that was a very nice example. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. It was very good. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Saragrahi Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Wonderful, Mataji, nicely brought. Thank you for reminding the qualities of a devotee and how you've practically tried to what's the word? Really
remedy oneself. Yeah.
Or actually imbibe those. So, and nice, very nice points that you've brought up just all around. I think Sandhya Mataji also mentioned. Thank you so much, Saragrahi Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. You're very kind. Okay, if there are no other comments, then I think we are done. Thank you so much for attending and encouraging. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, you are the host, so I think you will have to close.
Oh, I have to close. Okay, I see.